So, hey guys, this is Alan with Keepical. We're keeping groups together. I wear many hats, but many of you know me as a group facilitator and a program director. So today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about goals and objectives versus commitments. They're both very important to your group and the way the group functions and what your members engage in during and between meetings. But if there's any one subject where I find there's the most confusion, it's how these relate to each other and how they're similar and different. And that's even with other facilitators and especially among members. So first, let me just talk a minute about goals and objectives in that term. So when I went to school, I have a background in business. When I went to school, what they taught was this term goals and objectives. And if you can imagine, essentially the goal is this thing at the top of a stair step, right? And that each step in the stair is an objective that builds towards the goal. So you achieve one objective and then another objective, and then those collectively will get you to the goal or the top. Now, also those that same objective, I've heard it referred to as a benchmark or mini goals, with the major goal, or milestones. To talk a little bit about that goal you're trying to reach, many of you have probably heard this term SMART or SMART goal. It's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And that's just a good way of saying, well, that main major goal is something that is very real and you know whether it's been achieved or not. Well, you can also apply that same logic to the objectives. I do know a lot of people that want to try to set multiple goals and work on multiple goals at the same time, and I can say it is very difficult to try to say no, we've just got one goal. But I think it's much easier for you as a group facilitator to try to get the member to focus on just one goal relative to the group, and if there is something that might be called 2 or 3 goals, is somehow turn that into, bring it up a little bit, have an ultimate goal, and turn those into benchmarks, or set one aside and only have one goal at a time. And that's my personal opinion. I think it's much easier to manage based on that. So a lot of people, a great way to organize a goal and set of objectives is to do it, just write a chronological list. If you can use some sticky notes or something, or a spreadsheet or whatever, you can create a set of objectives and then kind of move them around, slide them around till they have kind of a nice stacked look to them reaching the goal. And then that can be plotted on a chart. And a chart is a good way, a bar chart is a good way to sort of represent and sort of go along and track that. So in general, your goals and objectives are really just an overarching framework to give a reference point for each member to hang all of their activities on, reference, and make sure that what they're doing is working towards some endpoint. Now to discuss commitments. A commitment is really something that the member pledges to do at a given time to the other members in the group or to the facilitator or coach. And so a commitment could be an objective, but they shouldn't be rigidly tied together, because a commitment oftentimes is the result of something that has happened in the moment. It may not neatly fit with one of the objectives. So to give you an idea on how a commitment might be made and then managed is that the member decides going into a particular meeting that they've got a particular ask and backstory they want some reflection from the other members on. Then the members give guidance and feedback, and then that member then that's receiving the guidance then gives a commitment to the group, says, well, I'll do thus and such with the information you've given me. And then a month passes or whatever amount of time till they get back together, and then an outcome is generally reported on what they did with that information. So an example of a commitment would be, gosh, the deal fell through on the product line that we were going to use. Now we don't have a product line, and I'm in damage control. And so then the members give them input and guidance and reflection, and then that member then might say, well, my commitment is by next meeting I will have negotiated a new product line for the business I'm opening. So you can see how the commitment might be in the moment and it doesn't tie very neatly to the goals and objectives, but that they dance together. So the commitment should be somehow within that framework of the goals and objectives, but not necessarily one and the same. So guys, I hope I helped clarify and didn't cloud things a little bit about the difference between goals and objectives and commitments for your group. I hope you got something from today's clip. I love hearing from you. Please leave a comment or feel free to get in contact with me through keepable.com. We're keeping groups together.